Right now, at four different American piers, four Iowa-class battleships are floating in fresh water and salt water and doing absolutely nothing. They are the last battleships in the world that a country could, in theory, still take back. And every few months, somebody says it out loud again, bring the Iowas back. Most people know the Iowas were pulled out of mothballs in the 1980s and sent back to war. Almost nobody knows what happened after that, in the years when nobody was watching, and that is the part that closed the door for good. The ammunition they fired does not exist anymore. Somebody had it cut up for scrap. The law that forced the Navy to keep two of them ready was quietly satisfied and cancelled. The one ship that has been worked on recently spent 12 weeks in a dry dock, cost $10 million, and none of that work was military. And the crew it would take to run one of these ships is a number that no ship in the United States Navy carries today except a nuclear aircraft carrier. By the end of this video, you will know exactly what condition all four are in, what was thrown away, what the last serious estimate actually cost, and why the answer is not what the comments think it is. Before we keep going, thank you for being here. I want to ask you something, and I ask it genuinely. Where in the world are you watching this from? And have you ever been aboard one of the four, the Missouri, the New Jersey, the Wisconsin, the Iowa, or did somebody in your family serve on one? Put it in the comments, because those are the ones I read first. Start with why the question is even reasonable, because it is. These are not old wrecks. The Iowa class were the fastest battleships ever built, 33 knots on a hull nearly 900 feet long, 9 16-inch guns that could put a shell weighing as much as a small car 20-odd miles downrange. 4 of them were completed, the Iowa, the New Jersey, the Missouri, and the Wisconsin. 2 more were planned, the Illinois and the Kentucky, but never finished. They fought the Second World War, then Korea, and then they were tied up and left. And here is the part that keeps the idea alive. Twice, America changed its mind and brought them back. The New Jersey came out of reserve for Vietnam. Then, in the 1980s, under the 600-ship Navy program, all 4 came back at once. They were not just switched on, they were rebuilt. Tomahawk cruise missiles and armored box launchers, Harpoon anti-ship missiles, close-in weapon systems, new radar, new electronics, satellite communications on a hull laid down in the 1940s. The Government Accountability Office put the cost of reactivating and modernizing all 4 at about $1.7 billion, the most expensive battleship program since the Second World War. That figure covered everything from hull work to the electronics package the Navy called the New Threat Upgrade, which turned a 1940s design into a platform that could launch precision weapons over the horizon. In 1980s money, for 4 ships that were, at that point, sitting complete and preserved and only about 30 years old. That is the precedent everybody remembers. So the question is fair. If it worked then, why not now? Most people stop right there. Here is what happened next. In 1991, during Operation Desert Storm, the Missouri and the Wisconsin fired their guns in anger for the last time. Between them, they put over 1,000 16-inch shells onto targets in Kuwait, and they launched Tomahawks on the opening night. It was, by any measure, a success, and it was the last time in history a battleship fired a main gun in combat. Then, within about a year, all 4 were decommissioned again, and this is where the story stops being about ships and starts being about paperwork. Congress did not trust the Navy to let them go. The National Defense Authorization Act for fiscal year 1996 ordered the Navy to keep at least 2 of the 4 on the Naval Vessel Register in condition to be reactivated and to keep the logistical support to do it. The Navy could not release them until the Secretary of the Navy certified formally that the fleet's naval gunfire support was at least equal to the firepower of 2 battleships. So for 10 years, 2 of these ships were legally hostages, not museums, not scrap, held. That certification came on the 17th of March, 2006. Secretary of the Navy Donald Winter signed the order striking the Iowa and the Wisconsin from the register, and the argument he used was the Zumwalt-class destroyer program, 32 ships that were going to carry an advanced gun system and make the old 16-inch battery unnecessary. I went back and checked that number 3 times because of what happened to it. 32 Zumwalt-class destroyers were originally planned. 3 were built. The advanced gun system that was the entire justification was never given ammunition it could afford, and the guns on those 3 ships have been removed. So the ships were released on the strength of a program that did not happen. That is a real irony, and the comments are right to notice it. But it does not put the battleships back, and here is why. That was the law. Here is the part that makes it physical. You cannot fire a battleship without 2 things, the projectile and the powder. The 16-inch 50 caliber Mark 7 shell is a purpose-built object that nobody has manufactured for decades. The propellant is not a cartridge, it is silk bags of powder, loaded by hand. And the specific propellant used in the 1980s deployments was drawn from stocks originally made for an older gun. In 2016, the Army put out notice to dispose of more than 15,000 16-inch battleship projectiles held at an ammunition plant. Not sell, not store, demilitarize and scrap. The inert filler in a lot of them made them useless for anything except being melted down, and that is what happened. You can restore a hull, you can rewire a ship. Nobody is restarting a powder line and a projectile line for a weapon with no user. Then there is the crew. An Iowa in the 1980s ran with something in the order of 1,500 to 1,900 people aboard. There is no surface ship in the United States Navy today that carries anything like that. A modern destroyer runs with a crew in the low 300s. The Navy has spent 30 years designing crews down, not up, and it is currently short of people on the ships it already has. And every single sailor who knows how to run a 16-inch turret, the loading drill, the powder handling, the flash discipline, is either retired or gone. That knowledge was not written down in a way you can hand to a 19-year-old. It was taught aboard by men who had done it. There is a reason to be careful here, and I want to say it plainly. On the 19th of April, 1989, an explosion in the number 2 turret of the Iowa killed 47 men. Those guns were dangerous in the hands of a fully trained crew, with the whole system alive around them. That is not an argument against the ships. It is an argument about what just bring them back is actually asking somebody to do. There is one more belief I want to deal with because it comes up under every video about these ships, and it is always said with pride. It goes like this. The great thing about the Iowas is that they are kept in a state of preservation, so if they are ever needed, they can be reactivated. I understand exactly where that comes from. When these ships were laid up, they really were preserved that way. Ships in the reserve fleet were dehumidified, sealed, turrets capped, machinery coated. The whole point was that they could be woken up, and for 2 of them until 2006, that condition was a legal requirement. That is no longer what these ships are. The moment a battleship is struck from the register and handed to a museum, the standard changes completely. A museum ship is maintained to be walked on, not to go to sea. Compartments get opened up for visitors. Systems get shut down permanently because keeping them alive costs money that pays for nothing. Fuel and ordnance are long gone. The requirement is that the ship stays afloat, stays safe, and stays open. And even that is hard enough that it takes a decade of fundraising to do a hull survey. So when somebody says the ships are preserved and ready, they are describing the 1995 version of these ships, honestly, and from memory. It was true. It just stopped being true about 20 years ago, and nobody announced it, because nothing dramatic happened on the day it changed. It changed by paperwork. So that is the past. Here is what they are today, one by one. The Missouri went first. She was donated in 1998, and she sits in Pearl Harbor, about 400 yards from the wreck of the Arizona, bow deliberately turned to face it. Around 1 million visitors a year, she is the healthy end of this story. The New Jersey, the most decorated battleship America ever built, was donated in 2000 and became a museum in Camden on the Delaware. The nonprofit that operates her and the Homeport Alliance, which raised the dry dock funds, spent years campaigning for the work. And in 2024, she did something none of the others have done this century. She left the pier. On the 27th of March, 2024, she was towed down the river to dry dock number 3 at the Philadelphia Naval Shipyard, the same dock where she was finished in 1943. It was the first time she had been out of the water in more than 30 years, 12 weeks. They drained the dock, inspected the hull, repaired around 130 through-hull openings, replaced roughly 1,300 anodes, and put a complete new paint system on her. because she now sits in fresh water and fresh water eats a steel hull differently than the sea does. She came home to Camden in June. There was a separate $4 million job to lay a new teak deck. The hull work cost $10 million, public and private money, and it took years of campaigning to raise it. Hold that figure, because it is the whole answer. The Wisconsin was donated in 2009 and sits in Norfolk. The Iowa herself was the last to be settled. Donated in 2011, towed to berth 87 at the Port of Los Angeles in 2012, and opened as a museum there. 4 ships, 4 cities, 4 nonprofit organizations that spend most of their year worrying about paint, rust, roof leaks over an open deck, and admissions numbers. So where does that leave the question? The honest answer is not, the ships are too rotten. Some of them are in decent shape, and the New Jersey just proved that a hull built in 1943 will still take a survey. The honest answer is that a battleship is not a hull. It is a hull, plus ammunition that has been destroyed, plus a factory line that no longer exists, plus 1,500 trained people who are not there, plus a modern combat system that would have to be designed from scratch to plug into a 1940s power plant, plus a navy that has neither the money nor the sailors to spare. The last time America did it, with the ships preserved, the ammunition in stock, the crew still alive, and the industrial base still warm, it cost $1.7 billion for 4 ships. Every single one of those conditions is now gone. And there is one more thing, and it is the part that never comes up. If the Navy took one back, it would be taking it back from a city, from a museum, from the volunteers who spent 20 years raising the money to keep the deck dry. Somebody would have to walk into Camden or Norfolk or San Pedro and say, "We are taking it." That is the real reason it will never happen, and it has nothing to do with missiles. Here is where I ended up. It took $10 million and 12 weeks in a government dry dock in 2024 to give one of these ships clean paint and a sound bottom. And that was the good news story. That was the version where everything went right. Bringing her back to war would not be that job multiplied. It would be a different job entirely. And the country that could do it stopped existing somewhere between the ammunition being scrapped and the last turret captain retiring. They are not waiting. They arrived. If you have been aboard one of the 4, tell me which one and tell me the year. And if you served on one when the guns still worked, I would genuinely like to read that.